This is what happens when your car sits for a year out in the country. So it's dirty. Got some mud dauber nests in here. They're basically wasps that are not super aggressive. So I'm gonna have to detail this engine bay and get it up to my standards. But what I wanted to talk about today was the famous Hemi tick. I'm not talking about the fuel injectors clicking open and closed. I'm talking about the lifters in the camshaft making a lot of noise. Now, I saw a video on YouTube, and I honestly don't remember the link or who did it or whatever, but he had taken one of these apart, disassembled it, and figured out that there's no mechanism for oiling the camshaft when the engine is running. So the only way oil gets on the cam, in his theory, was when the crankshaft is spinning probably 2,000 RPMs or higher, and it flings oil up onto the cam. This makes sense because so many of us with a Dodge Charger Hemi or any other Hemi motor, we get that tick, 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 tick. It typically goes away when you drive, but if the car sits or idles a lot, it seems to return, and then obviously eventually it destroys the camshaft. So I'm going to drain the oil today, and I'm going to put in some Lucas and see if that helps, because if you've ever seen the Lucas, they have the little demonstration in the store. It keeps the oil on surfaces basically. So what I'm wondering is if that Lucas gets in the engine and then it gets up on the cam, if it'll stay on there at least a little bit longer, because obviously metal on metal is not good, and that's why we have the oil in the engine, you know, among other things, but basically to keep stuff like that from happening. So that's what we're doing today. I'll start by jacking up the vehicle, removing the oil filler cap, and then draining from the bottom. You've seen me do an oil change before, so I'm going to spare you watching that again. I don't know if all of this is true, but claims to help hydraulic lifters hold their prime, and it's recommended for 5W20 oils, which is what the Charger uses. And you can read all the different claims it makes. And they said to use up to 20% of the system capacity, 2 gallons for 8 gallons of oil. I don't know what the heck uses 8 gallons of oil, but the Charger uses 7 quarts, so it's going to be less than 2 quarts of this product. I'm going to go ahead and try to squeeze in 2 quarts and then do 5 quarts of oil. I was going to do 6 quarts of oil by adding one of these to my 5 quart jug and then basically pouring a quart into there and then using that as my measuring device. But I'm thinking 2 quarts may be better, since when I first started it after sitting for a while, it was clicking so bad I got a check engine light. I've purchased all this with my own money. I'm not sponsored, although I do see O'Reilly advertised on my channel quite a bit, so thank you. But O'Reilly is where I typically shop if I'm going to a car parts store, and also where I recycle my oil at. They're very friendly, very knowledgeable people there. So this is what we're going to do. 5 quarts, 2 quarts, and I'll skip this one this time. And we'll just see, you know, I'll drive it and see if I get any clicking, particularly if I let it sit for about a week or 2 and then start it up. That's going to really be my test. When I drive it every day, it doesn't click. It's only when it sits for several days, then it starts going tick, 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 tick. So that will be my test. So my process hasn't really changed. I spray a dish soap like Dawn. I find the actual Dawn brand works the best in my experience. Again, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. And I always enjoy all the comments I always enjoy all the comments I get from people. You're not disconnecting your battery, you're not covering this, you're not covering that, you're getting this wet, you're getting that wet. Yep. I like to spray it from all angles because it seems like no matter what you do, you'll miss a spot. And I'm probably going to want to grease the hinge there when I'm done, since I'm using a degreaser. And that's a typical 100-degree July, Texas day, so this stuff dries faster than you want it to. I really don't want the soap to dry on the engine. So I'm going to have to cut this shorter than normal. And just try to get the bulk of the spider webs and dirt dauber nests and dust and dirt that's accumulated on here from sitting. And then just rinse it down thoroughly again from all angles. I expect that you'll probably miss a spot or two. I don't like to use a hard spray of water. I like to use a soft spray. I don't think a pressure washer is a smart idea for this type of job. I know some people do use a pressure washer, and you know, if you feel comfortable doing that, that's on you. I just think the pressure washer does more harm than good. I've seen it take the paint off the cars and stuff, so I just don't think it's a wise idea. And then my secret, which is not really a secret since I've shown it in so many videos, is using the blower attachment from my shop vac. Make sure you dry everything off. After you've dried it from every angle and you're certain there's no more wet spots, then you can shine it up with some tire shine and then start it and run it till it is at least operating temperature to do any final drying. purposely not spraying the coil packs. They just typically don't like any kind of moisture, and I don't necessarily trust that this tire foam will dry out enough to be safe to spray directly on the coil packs. So probably what I'll do is get a little 303 on a rag and just wipe that area down. This stuff works great because it both cleans and shines, and you can wipe it around and wipe it on the hoses and so forth, anything that you don't feel comfortable spraying it directly on. I'm just going to spray some white lithium on here. You can spray pretty much whatever you want, silicone, or you can even get out the grease gun and grease this if you want to. We're just wanting to make sure that everything moves quietly, no squeaks. And if you've seen my roll-up garage door video, this stuff really works amazing when you consider it took the door from squeaking and grinding to a completely quiet operation. I'm also going to put a dab on the top of these. Just to keep it from squeaking. Sometimes the hood, as it wiggles down the road, will squeak there. Certainly does it on the Crown Vic. And go ahead and activate your hood release several times just to work that grease in. Went ahead and put some white lithium grease on all those little hinges over there, and you can see it's really made a big difference on the hood. Our last step is to start the engine and let it warm up. To get to normal operating temperature. Once it hits normal operating temperature, then you can call the job done. And you see I did a pretty quick job on this. I wasn't really trying to get it perfect. If you want to spend the time and really wipe down everything, get in here even with like a paintbrush or something, you know, you can make this thing look factory new. This was just a quick wash down, and you see it's already so much better. I didn't even touch the coil pack area just to be on the extra safe side. Like I said, I really believe that drying the engine is the key, and I think that's why so many people are paranoid about washing their engine. Is if you wash your engine and just leave it wet, then obviously things can rust and corrode and give you problems. And if you wash your engine and then start it right up without it being dry, then obviously water can short things. And obviously if you have damage somewhere and water gets into something that it's not supposed to, that's a different problem, and I can't really predict that. But if your engine is running normally and just dirty, I think this is 100% safe. I do it all the time. I haven't had any problems with it. So time will tell if the tick 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 stays away. But I'll try to keep you updated on that in the comments or whatever. Hope the video was helpful. Appreciate it. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and please tell your friends about my channel. Thank you very much.